All right, Nancy, the name of the book is What Happened to Ellen, An American Miscarriage of Justice. How in the world was this ever ruled a suicide?
Nate, I don't know how it was ruled a suicide. As you have read in the book, or by the way, I read the book for the audio tape version. I like to listen to books on tape while I'm jogging or walking or in the car, dragging here and there to get the twins. But let me tell you what happened, Nate. Ellen Greenberg, stunning, beautiful, brilliant. She's that person that when they walk in the room, everybody gravitates toward her,
Mm.
right? They want to talk to her, they want to be with her. She's just got a happy, bubbly life force about her. So Ellen has her master's degree, super smart, and she was teaching first grade. Her dream job. That's what she wanted to do. That day, Nate, a blizzard set in. This is in Philly, a fancy suburb of Philly. So all the children had to go home early. She was not expected home to the apartment she shared with her fiance that she believed was Mr. Wright. But she came home early and she spent, I don't know how long, calling every single parent to make sure that their children got home.
Mm.
She had stopped on the way to fill up her tank of gas for if she needed to, in case she needed to leave for some reason and couldn't get to the gas station. She came home and started making a giant fruit salad for lunch. The fiance comes home. Then he comes to the apartment. Then he leaves to go downstairs to the workout club in the building. He works out for about 45 minutes, Nate, and then comes back up. He says when he comes up, he has to break down the door to get in, that it's locked from the inside. Of course, all that evidence is destroyed, when you break down a door, evidence that it was locked or not locked is destroyed, obviously. But he comes in and immediately sees Ellen lying, actually, more correctly, sitting up. Her bottom is on the kitchen floor, her legs are splayed out in front of her, and she's leaning back against the kitchen cabinet, Nate.
Mm.
She's dead. In those 45 minutes, someone has come into the apartment and murdered her. But police think in those 45 minutes, or at least they say it, that in just 45 minutes, she says, you know what, forget the fruit salad, forget the save the dates I've just sent out for my wedding with the venue book, the band book, the food selected, the dress bought. I have a beautiful picture of her in her wedding dress. It was going to be a big shindig, and she was so excited. But in the middle of the fruit salad, she goes to, hey, with that, I'm just going to kill myself. Then here's the kicker, Nate. She stabs herself 20 times, Nate, including, wait for it, 10 times to the back of the head, the back of the neck, including one wound so severe the back of her neck slices her own dura,
Mm.
D delta URA, the protective sheath surrounding her spine. But yet, miraculously, even slicing her own dura, she continues to stab herself 10 more times.
Yeah.
The medical examiner, and this is attached at the back of the book, Nate, says that at least, and this has been looked at by many experts that say one of the wounds, at least one, was administered post-mortem after her heart quit beating. There is no way she did this. Number one, you're married, you have a wife, you have a daughter. A lot of times women can't even zip a zipper on a fancy dress,
Right.
right? And she stabbed herself 10 times in the back and kept stabbing. And Nate, and she's right-handed. In her left hand, Nate, she's still holding a pristine white dish towel. So
Mm.
she stabbed herself holding the dish towel. And Nate, one more thing. In the book, you will hear about the wrong way blood. As I told you, she's sitting up, slumped against the cabinets like I'm doing right now. I did a reenact with our friend Joseph Scott Morgan, professor of forensics. She's sitting up, But blood, Nate, do it with me. Use your right index finger. Blood was dried from her nose to her ear, perpendicular.
Mm.
Now, again, I'm not a physicist. I was a Shakespearean literature major, but I've heard of Sir Isaac Newton. All right? If she had died that way, the blood would be going down. This proves to me she was lying supine, and the blood trickled down, it coagulated and dried. It had time to do that, dry, and then she was propped back up. That's
Nancy,
staging,
was her
Nate.
body moved?
Staging of the scene.
Right, yeah. Was her body moved at
Well,
all?
obviously it was moved,
Yeah.
but when the fiance comes in, he says he sees her sitting up like that in 45 minutes. Now, that's not all, Nate. The body gets to the morgue. The medical examiner, Dr. Marlon Osborne, now give the police on the scene. They're not experts. They go, oh, no sex attack, locked from inside, nothing stolen, suicide. To their credit, they could not see all the wounds to the back, but she was still dressed.
Mm.
Okay, it went through her clothing. But that said, no luminol, no fingerprints, no measurements, no nothing. Nothing. The body gets to the medical examiner's, Nate, and the medical examiner, Dr. Marlon Osborne, rules it's a homicide. She's been stabbed 20 times, including 10 to the back. Of course it's a homicide. Then there is a closed-door meeting within 48 hours. Suddenly, the Philly PD that processed that scene and ruled it a suicide, stupidly, the Philly PD are there, other medical examiner reps are there, and an assistant district attorney is in a closed-door meeting with Dr. Osborne, and he states under oath, and I attach it to the back of the book, they pressured me to change my ruling to suicide.
Mm.
In the last months, when his feet were held to the fire with a civil lawsuit, just as he's about to take the stand to describe what happened in that meeting, settlement. He now says this was not a suicide. It's not a suicide. The attending physician agrees. Joe Scott Morgan agrees. Multiple experts agree it was not a suicide. So why is it not being investigated, Nate? It's wrong. Her parents, Nate, Josh, and Sandy, when I talked to Sandy last year, Nate, she just looks so tired and worn out. This is their only child, Ellen, okay? Should have been her wedding. It was her funeral. They have fought this suicide ruling for 14 years. They've spent their entire life savings, over $700,000, hiring experts and lawyers. They had to sell their family home, which I have to tell you was beautiful. I went there. And they're still fighting. Sandy told me, she said, you know what? I really think that the state of Pennsylvania and the city of Philadelphia, they're waiting for Josh and I to just die and go away. They're trying to wait us out, but we're not quitting. That is wrong, Nate.
Yeah. So is the investigation back open now? I mean, are they focused on suspects?
Nate, I don't know what's happening with that investigation. Now, you know how I feel about politics. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. All politicians lie. It's just, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, they're all lying. Okay? Josh Shapiro was the Pennsylvania Attorney General, the top cop. Those parents begged him to please take a look at this, and he went, I don't see anything that indicates it's not suicide. Really? Is he blind? No. Is he deaf, dumb, and blind? So now he's the governor. He was this close to the Oval Office, running as a VP, almost on the ticket, right? And then the name Ellen Greenberg surfaced, and he was kicked to the curb. Now, what does that tell me? That tells me that the state AG's office can have nothing to do with this, which is normally where you go when there's been some kind of misconduct by police or a local DA. No, because he's already had his hands in it and looked the other way, like Pontius Pilate. So he can't be part of it. He's tainted. The current DA, who's, I'm sure, a fine person, but too many connections to the then DA. Anybody in that office has too many connections. Like, I know all the DAs that are in the DA's office now. I'm connected to them because I worked there for 10 years. Can't have any of them. They're too close to the case. We have to bring in independent investigators, Nate, which only means the feds.
And what is her boyfriend saying about all this, Nancy? Sam Goldberg.
He's always said it's suicide, but the medical examiner has now openly stated this was not, is not, and never was a suicide. I was pressured to change my ruling from homicide to suicide. Now, listen to this, Nate. You can do a backflip when you hear this. The female assistant prosecutor who was in that meeting has gotten immunity, according to reports. Why would a prosecutor who is given the duty of always doing the right thing be given immunity over what she said or did in a meeting? That doesn't bode well, does it? So why was she given immunity? What happened in that meeting? And if there was a cover-up, for who? Now, Nate, before I attach any nefarious translation or interpretation of a cover-up, for all I know, it could have been as simple as the cops screwed it up on the scene, they dug in on suicide, they were entrenched, they would not entertain the facts, and so they covered up their bad investigation. They started making an excuse, and a little lie turned into a big lie, and now it's been 14 years. It could be that simple, or maybe not.
Jeez, so many questions. Man, the name of the book again, What Happened to Ellen? An American Miscarriage of Justice. It's on sale now. Nancy, anything that you want to add?
Yes, there is. That's a dangerous question, Nate. I've never had an appellate judge say, is there anything you want to add? I'm like, oh, HELLYES. Okay, hold on. I would like to add that all proceeds are going to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I have no money or pecuniary interest in this book. I'm doing it for Josh and Sandy, and I dedicated the book to Ellen. I'm doing this for Ellen because I'm at my wit's end. I don't know how to get an independent investigation of this case. Oh, can I just tell you one more thing?
Please.
So the next day, the apartment manager calls the police and says, hey, the fiance's family wants to come in and get some stuff for the funeral. You know, like his suit and some other things. Now, they took Ellen's computer, her laptop, phones, I forgot what else. But the family, I understand, has gotten all that back. And I am not impugning a nefarious intent. For all I know, they went and went, hey, that stuff's expensive. Don't leave it in an abandoned apartment. And they didn't keep it. They gave it all back. But my point is, civilians were allowed onto a crime scene. But at that time, it had already, the cops had said on the scene it was a suicide. So the apartment manager calls and says, hey, can they take this stuff? The police says, sure, take it. So they didn't do anything wrong, right? They took it because police said they could. And later returned most of it. But the apartment manager also said, can I have the place cleaned? And the Philly PD they say, sure. As a matter of fact, here's a recommendation for a crime scene cleaner. Yeah. The apartment was professionally cleaned. Bye-bye DNA, fingerprints, hairs, fibers, touch DNA, blood spatter, all gone.
Oh my
gone.
Gosh.
Number one. And number two, the apartment manager, pretty smart cookie she is. She didn't just fall off the turnip truck. The apartment manager takes a video of the scene before the cleanup and after the cleanup. I guess to prove like, hey, we didn't steal anything. Everything's just as it should be. We did everything right. She sends it to the police and they lose it.
Oh, no. Wow.
It's enough to make me think that there is a cover-up, but I'm not ready to accept because I really think, Nate, in most cover-ups and conspiracies, people cannot keep their yaps shut that long, right?
Yeah, 14 years.
I think, that somebody would have done $1 million book deal by now to blow it wide open. So I don't know that there's a cover-up conspiracy, but Maybe there is. I don't know because there hasn't been an investigation and it's wrong.
Can people do anything? Because I know that our viewers are going to be, and your viewers, they're going to be saying, "Well, we want to do something. We want to push this forward." I mean, what can the public do?
Yes, there is an online petition now where you can let your voice be heard, and there is a toll free tip line 1 800 472 8477. 800 472 8477.
Nancy, thank you. Thanks for the book. Everybody, check it out, and hopefully this gets somewhere, and that this case can be solved and give that poor couple, her Ellen's parents, some answers.
I pray. I pray. Nate, thank you.